Alright YouTubes, in today's video we've got a vehicle in for some bird lime damage. That's the nice way of saying it. So we've got a Nissan Qashqai in, very common damage this is, and it's hard to say, you know, there's so many severities of this type of damage, whether it's down to poor factory paint or whether it's down to the aggressiveness of the bird shit, basically. You know, I see so many variations of this, from real light staining that will polish out down to eating its way through to the bare metal. Is it the factory paint that determines how badly damaged this gets? Is it down to how long it's left on there, or is it down to the severity of it's the acid in the bird's stomach that causes this? So is it the type of bird, what they've been eating? Who knows what will cause the different levels of severity of this damage. So this one's quite bad, and I've noticed on the sort of Japanese cars like the Nissans and that, the paint isn't great, is it? On Nissans, Mazdas, those type of vehicles, it always looks real thin to me. Washy finishes, you know, dry, tight finishes. So it doesn't look like it offers as much protection as some other manufacturers' paint finishes. I would probably say it's down to more the protectiveness of the paint more than anything, but there are different severities of how well it attacks the paint. Yeah, I'll show you the damage, and this one's quite bad. So it's at its way right, it's pickled it, so it's like it's had paint stripper or something on it. So it's in all this area here, and there's a bit on this quarter panel, and there is a couple of little small bits at the front. And this guy said that this got on there and it wasn't even on there for a day. He noticed it, and he's had it before, and he washed it off, you know, within 24 hours he washed it off, and this is what it left behind. There's so many variables in this, it's really hard to say, but I really don't think that some of these paint finishes on some of these vehicles offer as much protection as some other vehicles, you know. So maybe a combination of both. But yeah, this is what we've got to do. We've got to paint this roof, we've got to paint this quarter panel for this bit here, and obviously go around the rail. And one telltale sign that I've spotted just by speaking now on the camera is this would be due to the quality of the paint that's on this vehicle, is where the sharp thin aerial has been, and we've removed it. There's a difference in colour there, so straight away that's indicating to me that it's not offering as much protection as it potentially could be offering, you know, with a better quality paint and a better quality paint finish. The UV, it's got through the clear. The clear's not offering as much UV protection as maybe it could do, and it's changed the colour of the base coat, which is a common thing that I see, especially on the Japanese market type vehicles. So yeah, that's definitely an indicator that the paint quality isn't that great. So quite often with these, even when I've done this type of repair before, and it's not been as severe as this, I've, you know, sanded it out and it looks like it's all gone, maybe gone down to like the primer layers of the original factory paint, gone down to the primer layers, and yeah, primed it and painted it, and after a bake some of it's reappeared on me again. So my rule of thumb now is, even if it hasn't really broke the clear coat, I bare metal all these areas now, and it's the only way to guarantee that it's gone. Like I say, I've had it creep back. This definitely is going to end up being bare metal anyway by the time we sand through the layers there. There's not a massive amount of paint on these, so it won't take much to sand through the layers. Going to be bare metal in all these areas where this bits of damage are, bare metal them. We'll go through it all. We'll go through the sanding of this, getting it all prepped, primer, prep, masking, base coat, clear coat, finish. Probably end up going over a couple of videos this one, so yeah, we'll get stuck into it right away, start getting it prepped. We've stripped all the roof bars off, dropped the sunroof down. We're gonna have to use lifting tape on this, but I've got a couple of options on lifting tape, and when I get to that point I'll show you what they are. I've got some real decent, quite expensive lifting tape, and I'll show you what it is, but it works really well on pulling back these types of rubbers, because they are tight and there's going to be build up, and I just mask that off to stop any crap from going in the car. And yeah, we'll start getting it all prepped. Going to be an egg cam on this one because it's quite quite high. I'm not really built for roofs, I'm more built for sills than roofs, because I'm vertically challenged, as you may well know if you're a regular. It's not the easiest job for me to do, a roof, but I get there. I struggle on, all right. So yeah, let's get right into it, start getting it all prepped out. Do you reckon 220 or 180? You need some of them. Hmm? It was anyway. Do 8. I don't know, does 5 work? I think it does. Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? Hope you're all well. Job on this Nissan X-Trail. I keep getting my cars wrong lately in videos. It's an X-Trail, not a Qashqai. So this X-Trail, yeah, quite aggressive bird lime damage on this, and yeah, I've found rule of thumb now is no matter how aggressive it is, it's just to bare metal it, and it's happened to me a couple of times. Like I said, it looks like it's gone, primed it, rubbed it down, painted it, and it's reappeared on me. It has flat and polished, but there's obviously microscopic levels of it that have just ate its way all the way through. So yeah, it's really aggressive. So imagine getting it in your eye. what that would do to you. It's quite hard to say whether it's down to the paint or, you know, the aggressiveness of the bird lime. Like I said, I think the paint quality has a massive influence on how badly damaged it gets. And obviously you can try and prevent stuff from marking your paintwork with ceramic coatings and all that, and they probably do help having ceramic coatings. But this car was clean. It's had a bit of previous paint and stuff like that, but this car's clean. You can tell when someone looks after a car, and they obviously wash it right and all the rest of it. So it's not like it's a car that didn't look like it'd been washed and painted, was untouched. You know, it was clean and shiny. You would imagine that there was some sort of protection on the paintwork. Paint layers seem really thin on these Nissans and Hondas and Mazdas, them types of vehicles. So I think when it does get a aggressive bird lime on there, it eats its way into it quicker than it would on another manufacturer's paint that's a bit better quality. You know, the German stuff we know, BMWs, Audis, them types of paint finishes, you can tell when you sand them that they're a good quality paint, and they've got more on there, so that is part of it. And as you see when I showed in the intro where I removed the shark fin, and there's a colour difference under there, so it shows that the sun's been attacking it, the UV's been getting through and changing the base coat, which it shouldn't really be doing that. Oh, there's another bit here. There's a way, isn't it?
You found that like little rusty spot out?
What, up here?
On the other side?
No. So I started off with 240 grit on that, and it sanded through pretty easily and feathered out. So there's not a lot of layers, so easy sanding and easy feathering when the paint quality and the paint finish isn't great. It's got the minimal amount of paint on there that they could get away with, really. So it makes your job easier for feathering out, sanding them layers right the way through. So yeah, 240 grit. Since making this video, I've got a couple of new DAs, because there's a thing with DA sanders, and it's about the orbit, and the orbit is designed to work with certain grits to get optimal sanding and get efficient sanding and get the most out of your sanding pads. I use 3M stuff, but I do use the middle of the road ones on some grits, like those blue ones that, you know, they're like their middle range ones. But I do use the Cubitrons, and they are really, really expensive. They're a lot of money, but I tell you what, whenever I use them, they're worth the money. You actually save money with them, I find. You get 50 in a box, you don't get as many. But I done a job just this week, 500 grit, virtually a whole bonnet, primer, wings, everything, with one disc of 500 grit Cubitron ones, and I put the disc back because it still had life in it. So I would have got through about four to five of those other ones, or, you know, a cheaper one. So I'm going over, once those other grits run out, I'm go Cubitron all the way. And one thing that I'm doing with it now is I've got a couple of variations in sanders, not electric ones, because again they're expensive, and it's a lot to have different orbits set up, different sanders for different grits. But I've got an 8mm orbit, and it's a 3M sander, an air one, 8mm orbit, and a 5mm orbit. They were on a good price, good deal, and they work so well. So the 8mm orbit, it's got a bigger throw, is for your aggressive, it's for more paint removal and more aggressive sanding. So if you've got to like get loads of layers off, and they say on the website what the 8mm a good grit range for them and for what you're trying to do. So a 5mm orbit is a good all-rounder for keying, scuffing, taking down to like your primers really, and they recommend from about 240 grit to 600 grits, 800 grit, that type of grit. The 8mm orbit with a big throw is from like your 40. I don't know if anyone ever uses 40. I've got some in stock for emergencies, but from, you know, 80 grit up to about 240 grit, the 8mm orbit works fantastic, and you'll remove a lot of layers a lot faster. So I've got some videos coming out with those two sanders, and you also get a 2.5mm orbit as well, and that's for your real fine grades and your flat and polishing. So they do work, and they're there for a reason, these variations in orbits, to work with your pads, and it makes your job more efficient. Yeah, there's more tools and equipment to have, but I find sometimes with a 5mm orbit, especially on tough paint, or it's got multiple layers you need to get through, and you're using coarser grits, with repairs and sanding your 80 grit scratches out and stuff like that, that the 8mm orbit absolutely munches through it. So it's a well worth investing in to get the most out of your sanding disc, which is going to save you money, and you get through the jobs quicker, so you're more efficient. So that's Qashqai all prepped now and ready for primer, so it's all masked up. So yeah, bare metal, quite hard to bake it up here unless I put it in the oven and bake it, which I don't really want to because it's a bit of faffing about for me, in and out the oven twice. So I've got a new primer to use on this, and we're going to the mixing room and I'll show you what it is. So the primer I'm going to use on this is it's a new product actually from Mipa. It's called it's Mipa FX6. And it's part of their air dry technology primers. This here, FX6, and it's a bit of a multi-use. There's a couple of mixing ratios. Use it as a wet on wet. It just comes in one colour grey, which is okay for this job, and only comes in litres as well, I think. Used as a high build with a high build mixing ratio. It says 2 to 4 coats, so I'll probably give it 3. It can air dry in 30 to 40 minutes at 20 degrees. So there is a variation depending on your temperature and your film build, film thickness, but they say 30 to 40 minutes, and it's sandable without any heat on it, as long as it's, yeah, you know, room temperature, about 20 degrees really. Colder than that, it will take longer. I haven't used it yet, so we're going to give it a go. It's got really good adhesion to bare metal, can go direct on metal, so ideal for this job. I'm not going to get a lamp up there. It's only a few little spots. I'm not looking for a real high build neither, because there's no filler work or repairs that are being taken care of. So this would be a good little option. I am going to leave it overnight because it's getting towards the end of the day. But it would have been nice to maybe have got it in primer a bit sooner and tried it, you know, give it maybe 40 minutes to an hour and see what it sounded like. But we'll see what it sounds like tomorrow anyway. So that's what I'm going to put on it. So I'm going to mix some of this up. And yeah, I'm quite intrigued to see how it behaves, really. So yeah, there's one hardener that goes in it, the H10, which I've got down there. And like I say, it only comes in one colour. So we'll get some of it mixed up and we'll see how it performs. So first time using this primer on this job. Since making this video, I've used it a few times now, and yeah, I'm impressed with it. It's not the highest build. It's quite pissy, to be honest with you, but it gives a surprising amount of build for how pissy it is, really. So I've looked into UV, and I shout out the guy's name's Stuart. He emailed me with some info on some cheap UV lamps and give me loads of information. So thanks a lot, Stuart. Really appreciate your email. And I have looked into it, and it is something that is on the list I will look into. But at the end of the day, most of the time, we're not in a massive rush to get something in, out in the same day. We get something to a stage, primer, and we move on. And with the single workshop and the booth, like, we can alternate between that. I'm painting, Reese is prepping. So in my situation, we've never really got a massive call for getting something primed there and then, and, you know, getting it rubbed down and painted in that same time frame, because we just have other stuff to get on with and we work it around that. So this is a good little alternative with the air dry thing, and it's just, I think it's ideal for situations just where you've got a small amount of little repairs maybe, and you're painting, you know, 2 or 3 panels, but you've just got a few little spots to do. So I found it's really useful in certain situations. And introducing heat to it, putting on a lamp, it's literally 10 minutes with a lamp, let it cool, and it's rock hard, ready to rub. And it's surprising the amount of build it's got, to be honest with you, for how thin the product seems when you mix it up. Very watery, very pissy. 20% thinners in that, or 40% in the wet and wet.
40?
In the wet and wet, yeah.
It's a lot, isn't it? Maybe half.
Yeah, it seems really thin. I don't know if it'd be any good on clag.
You know, it'd be alright for wet and wet though.
I suppose you're only going to do little. It's only meant for little spots.
What, you wouldn't use it as wet and wet?
Well, you know, if you was going to aerosol.
What, like breakthroughs or something maybe?
No, you know, little tiny small repairs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that you finish off in 320. It'd probably be alright for that. Let's see what it goes on like. Really pissy.
What, is that even before you've added all like the thinners and stuff?
No, it wasn't too bad before the thinners.
Make it dry out a bit, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? To be quick dry, it needs to be a thin product. Because the trouble is, they make thick products cure really fast.
That's downsides to that.
It pop, stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely couldn't put it through my other gun.
obviously played for us. The black so yeah, good.
Yeah, I'd be alright for that.
Where are we going to take an image of the colour?
I don't know. We'll look at the chips first and see what it's like to the door and the spoiler, and then go from there. If there's not much in it between them two, I'll probably take. Yeah, but it might have been blended at that end. Sand's easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So on to the preparation, and if you just heard me then, first time rubbing this primer, and it does, like I say, sand really easy, which I sort of expected it in a way, because it's thin and goes down nice and flat, so it's not a massive amount of build. And you find, you know, you're putting a high build of primer on there, it's normally quite textured, so you've got to get through that texture. But sanded fine, didn't have any issues breaking through. I think I may have put the first coat on a bit too heavy. I used my wet gun, so Satajet 1500 RP with a 1.4. I've got 1.6 now since making this video, and I've been using that with it, and yeah, it works really well. So I've got 1.6 100B, which is a designated primer gun, and yeah, it seems to work really well. I've used it a few times now, and yeah, it's just great for little small repairs really, and air dries really quick and rubs down nice from no heat. So normal procedure, using the 3M Cubitron strips. Again, they last ages. Get a good cut with them, and just block. I like to block directional, and then I like doing it in circles to come across both ways of a panel. But I always try to block in straight lines initially. I do a bit of all of it really. Bit of cross hatching, bit of diagonal, bit of circles. Yeah, get everything leveled out. A few little bits ringed up on that, and I think I did put the first coat on a little bit too heavy. It caught me out the thinness of it really. So normal procedure, what I would do with any other high build primers, block it all out with 320, get all the blocking done, get it all feathered out on the edges, and once I've done that, I'll guide coat it and sand it with a dual action sander with 500 grit, and then finish all the edges in 500 grit. Sometimes I go to 600 grit if it's quite a silvery colour, but most of the time I'll be putting blender coat over it, which blender coat will fill in the 500 scratches no problem, and you won't see any of that highlighted in blend zones and stuff like that. Oh, let's have a look. I'll put it here. I don't look too bad.
It's yellow and lighter. So
What's standard look like?
I thought it needed to go that way, that's why I grabbed it.
Well, have you looked at standard?
Yeah. It's a bit lighter.
The trouble is we're trying to match plastic here. Looks coarser, this car.
Yeah.
Definitely coarser.
I thought the standard didn't look too bad in terms of that.
Is that standard?
Yeah. There is a greener as well. I thought it could be. The greener dark.
Yeah, it looks a bit bluey.
Yeah. Card. I thought the card was green.
Yeah, like the chip looks a bit bluey.
Yeah.
The metallic's different there to there. It's been blended, isn't it?
Yeah. I reckon it'd come this way.
Yeah, they are.
Obviously they wouldn't have flipped into that pillar otherwise.
They've repaired the front of that door, you can see it.
Yeah, I know.
Looks a bit redder, the car as well.
Well, I've got red here, red lighter.
It's hard to tell up here. Oh, it looks really blue there. The chip.
That's red lighter.
They got redder darker.
I don't think we've got chip for that.
What are we going to match to?
No, I know. I mean,
Really, we need to be matching from that.
yeah.
I know, because it's all edge to edge here, edge to edge there, so we've got to match to the ear we're blending, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'd probably clean up the spoiler, and that looks alright on the redness there. That don't look too bad. Ooh. It's hard to tell up here. It looks a bit light, but the redness looks alright. I think we're gonna have to clean that spoiler. We'll do it when we'll get next door.
Right.
Let me just get this bit prepped and then we can get it cleaned down. And we'll move it, get that other job in, and then we can get going. So I like to go around, take care of the edges most of the time. I don't do it all the time, to be honest with you, but I like to take care of the edges first. Those dry sanding pads can create a little bit of scoriness and scratching, so I like to get as much of the area sanded with the DA pad instead of going round afterwards with the 500 grit hand pads. So coming up to the end of the video now, get all the preparation done. So we started it from the beginning up to primer preparation, and then in the next video it'll be the masking, painting, and you'll see the final results. So I just want to say massive thanks for watching, and yeah, if you're new to my channel and you're not subscribed, you've seen this video and this is the first video you've seen of mine and you liked it and you're into this type of thing, do us a favour, hit that subscribe button and help my numbers to get up. It'd be much appreciated if you do that, and yeah, share it with all your mates and your family, and be a good watch over Christmas for all of you. Sit round Christmas Day, you can bin off the King's Speech and watch a bit of the old humble paint sprayer. So I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thanks for all your support, all you regulars that watch my channel, and if you're new, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Have a great Christmas, have a great rest, look after yourselves. It's going to give me a bit of time over Christmas. I've got a lot of footage that I need to edit to make content out of, and that's what I'm going to spend a bit of my Christmas doing, relaxing and putting some videos together, because I really enjoyed making the videos. Just wish I had more time to make more content, really. I enjoy my job. I'm very lucky and I'm very blessed that I do a job that I still love doing after all this time. I'm passionate about painting cars, and I would do this as a hobby if I didn't need to work and I didn't need to pay the bills with painting cars. I would do it as a hobby, and that is the truth. And I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed that I do a job that I enjoy. So I hope it shows in my videos, and yeah, thanks again for watching. Look after yourselves, have a great Christmas, and we'll see you again soon. product. You know, it's quick dry technology. Think about aerosol. I've got a lot of rubbers to take care of on this. Stiffer edge on it.